Today we're looking at how you can use a budget to keep track of your finances. Now, a couple of key terms that you're going to need to know. The income is just the money that you're going to get either from a job or some other regular payment that you might be eligible for. And expenditure is just the money that you're going to spend. Now, I've broken these into two different types. Fixed expenses are fixed because they're the same all the time. So it might be something that you know you have to pay every week, like say your rent, or perhaps every month a repayment on your home loan, or perhaps you have a repayment on a car loan. You might also have some of your bills which never change, they're always the same. Perhaps your phone plan is $74 every month, and that's a nice predictable amount that you can plan for. Whereas other expenses are variable, which just means they're going to vary. And a lot of the things that we buy vary. We don't know how much we might spend on food each week because we might just splurge on something extra. We might need to spend more on petrol some weeks than others, depending on how far we drive. We might go out, we might not. So all of the variable expenses are rolled in there. Now, when you're using your budget, you'll have usually a table to list the various expenses that you've got so that you can add them up. And mostly what you're going to need to do in this exercise, which is 1E, is add things together. So if you've got income from various different places, you can add it up to get your total income. And if you're spending money in various different ways, you can add all of those amounts up to see how much you've spent. Now, obviously the amount that you have at any one time is what you've got minus what you spent, which you don't have anymore. So that should be fairly straightforward. Income minus expenditure will be the amount of money that you've got at any one time. Now, a couple of things you might need to do with percentages in this unit. We've done this before, but let's just revise it. Now, if you're finding a percentage of something, for example, what is 20% of 40,000, just remember that of means times, that's right. So you'll type into your calculator 20, you can use your percent button, just hit shift and then that open bracket button. Of is times, and then you can put in whatever number you like there. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, a lot of people manage their budgets by working out what percentage of their income they want to be spending on a certain thing. That way they can work out if it's too much or not enough. So 20% of 40,000, well, that's a fifth of 40,000. You should be getting $8,000 there when you've done that calculation. And there's a few calculations in this exercise like that. There are also some that ask you to work out some quantity as a percentage of another quantity. So for example, if I spend $25,000 of my $60,000 salary on rent, what would this be as a percentage? Well, the way that you do it is you say, all right, it's 25,000 out of 60,000. And as soon as you say that out of, it should remind you to make it into a fraction. Now, if you type that fraction directly into your calculator, then it will, and then hit equals, it will basically just reduce it down for you. It will simplify it into a simpler fraction. So it should give you 5/12. So just check now and see that it does. So effectively, we're spending 5/12 of our salary on rent. Now, if you want to know what that is as a percentage, then all we need to do is multiply that by 100. So you can just put it in exactly like this. You don't need to put the 5/12. That's just something it will come up with by itself. Multiply by 100 and it should give you 41, and the calculator will probably spit out a whole heap of sixes. Now, if you want it as a fraction or a decimal, remember you can hit that SD button and it will change it. Sometimes fractions are a little bit simpler to work with because they're easier to write. So this is 41 2/3%. Now, always check that it makes sense, because if you've got it wrong, it might be wrong by a lot, and you'll probably be able to tell. Now, I can see that 25,000 is just a little bit less than half of the 60,000. So if you asked me to guess what percentage this number would be out of that number, I'd say a little less than half. Wouldn't be 50%, but it'd be just a bit lower than that. So when I get 41 or so, that seems right. Now, if you'd accidentally divided by 100, your answer would be completely wrong. Okay, and you should be able to tell because it just won't seem right at all. All right. Alright, so good luck with doing exercise 1E. If you need any help, you can email me and ask me a question, and I can help you on Zoom or by email.